Hi, my name's Tommy, and I started FunkStylersTV, and I predominantly filmed basically all battles of hip hop, so like locking, popping, b-boying, everything really, and I started that back in 2012. So what got me into the dance scene? Well, it's kind of a bit of a long-winded question, but I'll try and make it as quick as possible. So I actually started dancing at uni purely by accident, through like a society exchange. I was in martial arts, and then next to us was the street jazz society, and as a way to kind of fill in numbers, we basically each signed each other's kind of like sign-up forms, and I'd go to their class and they'd come to our class, and turns out I was actually a pretty good dancer. And you know, I've never danced before then, because it's not really a thing in like Asian culture to be like part of the dance scene, especially back then. So yeah, so I started dancing at uni, and I think then I was kind of introduced to some b-boys at some like New Year's Eve dance party, and I didn't know these b-boys before, but later on I actually get to know them later on. But anyway, so I did the street dance class and I finished uni, and then I kind of stopped. And then once I got a job at the Halifax, and yes, I did used to work for Halifax, and yes, I am that guy from the Halifax advert. When I was on that advert, I met like a bunch of dancers, like, you know, in the background and stuff, dancing on the scenes, and I got really inspired. So when I came back from the shooting of the advert, I literally joined up to every single street dance class I could find in the Leeds area, because that's where I'm from. I'm from the Leeds area. And eventually I came across this class who was led by a guy called Chris Banks. Is now known as Banksy. He's a b-boy and locker, and he kind of introduced me to the scene a little bit. I became part of his crew. He thought I was a pretty good dancer, so you know, I got into it, and then slowly but surely I kind of got used to like introduced to the hip-hop scene. So I went to events called Attention to Detail. For those that know what it is, but basically it was like one of the first b-boy jams, probably for a well-known while. It started at the top of this bar called The Hop. It started in a place called Wakefield, and through that I started to get to know like lots of people, and then eventually I was like, wow, everybody seems to have their own thing. Everyone's got like popping or loads of b-boys and stuff like that, and I was just like, I don't want to be like anybody else. I want to find my own style, right? And that's when I discovered locking. And then after discovering locking, I was like doing the whole YouTube thing, how to do all the basic stuff, you know, going through all the syllabus of the locking, getting all the history and stuff, what they wore. Bought myself some stripy socks for the first time, you know, like kind of thing, which you don't really need to do, guys. If you're doing locking, you don't need to do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and I basically learned all the basics, and I trained like a madman. I don't even, I mean, if I have the footage, I'll put it in here, but there's a shot of me just doing like pacing for like a full session. And I mean, like a full session is probably like, I'd finish work, I'd go to the university, and then I'd kind of just train one thing for about 4 hours. So I'd be like pacing this way, pacing this way, pacing this way, and that was one session, just pacing. So I'd pace for like thousands, just like really drilling it in. And eventually I got to the point where I thought, you know what, I see all these like battles on YouTube as well. I might enter one, and just happened to be one in Holland, in Antwerp. And I went there and I got smoked. I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know how to like dance to battle like music on the beat and stuff like that. It was just because all I'd done before was like rehearsing to the same music. I never kind of freestyled or anything like that. And yeah, that was like kind of the first battles I went to in Antwerp, and one of the first injuries I got as well, because since then I smashed my knee, and still not fixed since. But yeah, that's what kind of got me into the dancing. It's kind of a long-winded answer, but I hope it answered the question. So the role I filled in the dance scene, I guess you could say I was like videographer, journalist, archivist, I don't know, any of the three really. I kind of just wanted to capture everything, and one for posterity really, for people to watch many years from like when I started filming, and just kind of have an archive of footage that they could refer to on YouTube. Yeah, and I think I started according to YouTube, according to the channel, on the 29th of April 2012, and then I think I kind of stopped around about 2018. So yeah, about 6 years, something like that. So a good stint, I think. So why did I work the way I did? I guess one, I kind of saw a need for it, and two, it was born out of frustration, really. Frustration because when I entered battles and things, I realized that there wasn't too much footage around right after. If there was, you'd be waiting a long while, and I'm talking like 4 weeks, a month, like sometimes even like 2 months until the footage was uploaded. And you know, internet speed wasn't great back in 2012, but it was fast enough, right? It wasn't like, you know, crazy broadband speeds that we have now, but it was fast enough. And yeah, I was just kind of frustrated like that, and I just thought I could just do it like a better job, really. Man, did I shoot myself in the foot with that, because I did do a quicker upload time, did do a better job in regards to that, but my lord, did I kick myself in the foot, because the amount of workload that you need to do to upload, like, you know, 50 videos in 24 hours, 48 hours is a bit crazy. But yeah, it was kind of born out of frustration, really, just because I wanted to see my footage, and if I felt that way, I'm pretty sure other people felt that way as well. So yeah, that's kind of really why I did it. And then I kind of just wanted it in like a professional aspect, really. So instead of just like filming on a phone and then just uploading it and just having it done, I ended up just having like timestamp on it, intros, outros, that kind of stuff. So yeah, just give it a little professional twist to it, really, to have the perspective that I was like an actual professional, not just a random dude. So the main thing I enjoyed about the dancing was, well, there's a couple of things, really. I can't say there's just one thing. So one thing it'll be meeting new people, and actually because of the dancing, I wouldn't be sat here. I wouldn't have met you know, Luke and everybody else on the dance scene. I wouldn't have met Inga. If you know, the girls out there, if people know out there, Inga B, Mama B, she's like a phenomenal woman. Probably the, I don't know, one of my closest dance friends on the scene. Met loads of tons of lockers in like Russia. Met P-Lock, legendary P-Lock, and like just meeting people was phenomenal. And also, I got to like chill with them afterwards. So it wasn't just like I'd go to a dance like event and then just see them on the scene and just see them dance, and then I'd like chill with them for like 2 minutes, like talking to them. It was more like afterwards. So there was a lot of times where I could just go to have dinner with them after a dance event, and it was just nice to meet other people, like other than like just talking about dancing or whatever like that, just chilling, talking about anime, manga, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and then traveling around the world, getting down to London, for example, went down to Bath. That was a long old drive. Been to France, Holland, went to Germany, Moscow, I already said. Been to Portugal, and yeah, just been pretty much a lot everywhere, really, around Europe, just to kind of film everything. And that was a nice excuse for me to go travel and see a little bit of the world. So yes, as mentioned before, I was kind of known for the quick upload times for FunkstylersTV. Yeah, as I mentioned before, it was a bit frustrating, really, to kind of, as a dancer, to go to an event and then having to wait like 4 weeks, 8 weeks for your footage to be shown. By that time, people have forgotten the event. Like, nobody cares at that point. It has to be like you have to film, and then after that you have like a week max before people can go to the other event and then talk about the other event, because that's how fast the turnaround was for dance event. Is like you go one weekend, you do that, you do your thing through that week, and then you go to another jam the next weekend. Like that was the pace of everything, right? So quick publicity was more of a necessity as well, because if I didn't upload it straight away or pretty much right after the event, another event would take over it. That would take the limelight. You got to be in that like hype phase. So that was how I thought about it. And then also like people just want to see their footage straight away, right? And they literally like to the point where they want to finish the event, go home, and then by the time they're home, there's like footage of them, right? Although I didn't have that speed at that point. It was pretty much the day after or the day before, the 48 hours afterwards. And it was just like there was a need for it, and I just thought it was like for my benefit as well. If it was late, then nobody would watch it. So that's basically two things. That's why I uploaded it quickly, really. So my favorite moments that I've captured is probably Euro Battle was pretty good in Portugal. There was a big event, big arena with Terra and Eddie. They kind of smashed the floor with that. The other one was probably best footage was the locking scene with P-Lock, and yeah, Moscow was pretty good as well. Moscow was like really so many people in Moscow at the locking scene. It was kind of crazy. So yeah, those kind of footage I seen, it was just good to see like a whole like wide class of people dancing, because where I'm from, I'm the only locker, so I don't get to see that much stuff, like, you know, lots of people in one room. So going to another country and just seeing like just a whole sports hall kind of place filled with just lockers was probably one of the most humbling moments for me to kind of witness, really. So the dancers I connected the most basically became one of my one a great friend of mine, as I mentioned before, Inga B. She came with me to the locking up in Moscow, same with Adrian Burton, who's a DJ. And we went there and we didn't know each other at all before then, and we just kind of got together and got like an Airbnb, and we stayed in this like old ass babushka apartment or something like that. But we became really good friends, so much so that, you know, she came working for me for like FSTV, and enabled her to kind of meet other dancers as well. And she's just a general all-around good person, like just as a dancer, just not just as a dancer, but just a really good friend, really. So Inga B, shout out to you. The most difficult thing about the dance scene, I'm gonna be real, it has to be money. Like, has to be money for anything. Whether you're a dancer, you know, just trying to get paid is hard. If you're a event organizer, getting sponsorship money is hard. And then being a videographer or being a photographer or being any of the like events people that go around into like a dance scene, even you're a teacher as well, not even like just going to an event, just a teacher. Money is hard. There's just not enough money going into the scene to make it like, I don't know, just attractive for people to dance. I mean, you hear people like on the professional level, like they, you know, people that dance with Janet Jackson and all that kind of stuff, they get paid a fair bit, but it's just, you know, are they getting paid as much as maybe the camera guy, as an example, or, you know, the other people? It's like, it's such a, there's so many people in the dance scene, there's just not enough like investors in the dance scene to do it. It doesn't, it's not seen as a art form that needs to get paid for, which is kind of sad, really, because if you look at like painters, photographers, and all those kind of people, they like outside of the dance scene, they get paid a fair decent wage. I mean, I've done it myself. So as a wedding videographer, I've done some gigs in the past before. You can charge £1,000 for one wedding, right? There's no way I'm gonna get charged. I'm not gonna get paid like £1,000 at a dance scene. It's very difficult. And also from my perspective, I also know how difficult it is to find like sponsors and stuff like that as well. So I also feel guilty to ask how much I'm to get paid. And there's been many times where I've done things for free and I've, you know, dropped down the price and all that kind of stuff, but just because the people that hired me just can't afford it. And luckily for me, like I had a full-time job. Well, I still have a full-time job, not had a full-time, but I have a full-time job. So I have that to kind of supplement me and do my filming and to enable me to go out and travel and do filming and stuff. But then to like ask people to pay me for my time for videoing and all that kind of stuff, it was kind of a little bit gut-wrenching, because I know that they didn't have that money in the first place, and to kind of try and pay me as much, you know, whatever they can is kind of like almost like drawing blood out of a stone. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, money is probably the most difficult thing about working in the dance scene. There's just not enough investors, and sponsors just don't see it as a thing that benefits them, really. It's quite sad. So what did I learn from the dance scene? Wow. Where do I start? So I learned that as an Asian person, I can actually dance. I'm not sure if I can say that, but yeah, it's not normally a thing, right? So around me at that time, I wasn't really subjected to like Japan or Korea's dancing and stuff like that, but like as an Asian background, you're kind of expected to do stable jobs, you know, like be a doctor, be a lawyer, be an architect, all that kind of stuff, right? And you don't really see kind of Asian dancers. And yeah, for me to actually start dancing and to realize that I was actually semi good at it, better than the average person, it was quite, you know, it was quite nice to be kind of good at something that is out of the norm for an Asian person. So that was quite nice. I learned how to do videography, so everything around using a camera, so getting a lens, learning how depth of field works, shutter speed, and all that kind of stuff, all that technical jargon was great to learn. That's like life skills that I'll always remember now, and I can pass on to somebody else. In fact, I remember when Luke came to me at the back of the stage at UK B-Boy Champs or something like that, and he started asking me questions about like, what's a good camera, what's a lens, what's depth of field, and at that time I was able to like answer those questions. So just things like that really is quite nice for me to learn and then pass on that knowledge. And then the other thing is how to become like almost like, you know, well, almost like an entrepreneur almost. I don't want to use that word. It's a very loose term. I can't think of another term right now. But yeah, just learning how to like problem solve, like starting a website and making money from YouTube, and how to bill yourself, and just kind of just turning yourself into a business really. And I kind of quickly learned that being a business person or starting your own business is quite difficult. Not the actual paperwork, but just asking for money is very difficult. Some people are totally wide different, but me, I hate asking for money. So yeah, I learned quite a lot of things from the dance scene. Not just dancing, but a lot about myself, and also a lot of technical skills as well. So what am I doing now? So I am still working. I still work for a company at this time. I won't divulge who they are, but yeah, I still work 9 to 5 in an office job. And that's Monday to Fridays, as same as any office job really. And then on the side, I started a YouTube channel really. I started a channel called Pixel Life Gaming, and I make gaming content for a game called 7 Days to Die. If you're really geeky, you can have a look at it. But yeah, I just kind of Again, it started the same as I did with Funkstylers TV. I kind of just started it as a hobby, see where it went, really enjoyed it, and I'm continuing. It's just, that's how things go, really. And I don't actually have to ask for money for it. YouTube pays me, so which is great. Which is awesome. What more could you ask for? So yeah, I get paid for doing something I enjoy. So yeah. So now I work, and now I make also content on the side. And also just, I enjoy having time now. Time is quite good. So when I was filming, I didn't have time. Now I have time and enjoying myself. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing with my life right now. That's me, I'm out. Thank you for listening to my dull answers. I hope they were interesting enough though to keep you engaged. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. If you do want to check out like Funkstylers TV or something like that, it's still on YouTube. I haven't filmed anything in years now, but go check out the old footage if you're interested in what b-boying was like in 2012. Go check it out. So yeah, thank you for listening, and I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.